Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome back to some more Bloodborne the Board Game. This is Byrgenwerth Part 2. So in Part 1, of course, we went over the 3 brand new enemies, as well as the brand new boss, Rom, Rar. I guess a spider-winged Rar. But what we did in this one we want to do is we want to look over the brand new campaign, which is Eldritch Truth. Campaigns, of course, have 3 chapters, and you can play them each not independently. You can play one at a time and save the game in between and come back. But we are going to go through this deck. You can kind of see what's in there if you'd like. So obvious spoilers. And now if you're looking at picking this up, because it is a Kickstarter game, exclusive game, a little bit more expensive to pick up. Whether maybe the campaign might be enticing enough for you, how it kind of rolls or plays. Like usual, I'm not going to read through every single card, but we will go through enough so you can at least pause each one. So 2 other things to just quickly mention here is we do have the single tile, which is showing in the first one, which will have Byrgenwerth itself. So it'll be referenced in the game when to place this, or when to place the Moonside Lake side of it. So it'll tell you when to activate those. The other thing we're going to have are the Magnus cards, which at some point will tell you to play these. And these are just different cards. They're going to have either unaffected, they're going to have you take some damage or be stunned, attack an enemy, attack a hunter, or heal or draw stats. So there's 4 cards that aren't bad, 4 cards that are bad. But there'll be various things you'll go through. If you want to look a little bit more of them, check out video part 1. Let's go ahead and hop into this and see what's in the Eldritch Truth. The Eldritch Truth, yeah. So the Yharnam, the College of Byrgenwerth, is housing someone with perfect minds and scholars. So cool. Alright, so chapter 1, we have 3 random enemies. Place the Garden of Eyes and Scholar cards and miniatures to the side. So this is interesting because we're going to use 3 random enemies. So if you only have the core set in this game, you use just your core set enemies. But if you have a bunch of other expansions, you can go ahead and use different characters as well. But you're going to keep the other 2 guys set aside because you're going to use them at some point. Otherwise, all the tiles should be used from the base game. And there we go. Start there. Tells you how to get into those things. In Setup 2, Chapter 2, we use the Eyes of the Guardian 2 random enemies, but keep the Scholar set aside. And it says reveal card number 15 to start. So I'm just going to quickly jump to that for just a second here. So card 15 is going to have you set aside, set the central lamp tile to the side. Hunters begin the game on the Byrgenwerth space. They only respawn on this lamp until otherwise instructed. So it's going to have you jumping and start with that tile. And then the Eldritch Truth Setup 3 now uses only 2 enemies, the Garden of Eyes and the Scholar. And you're going to start with card number 18, which will then set up the Magnus deck, which we'll look at that a little bit more later. And then it's just tiles. Eldritch Truth used card number 30. I like this as an interesting thing. I had to look this up too. So it's got to be set up the tiles in a certain order. So set up the Byrgenwerth tile to the side, connect a bunch of these tiles together, and then play a fog on each connection to the central lamp. So it's going to set up a little bit of different thing for the game. So let's go ahead and hop in. We got Passage to Byrgenwerth and the move on the Courtyard Lamp tile to reveal card 2. Passage to Byrgenwerth. Got a couple more of them. Start here. So move all hunters to the Moonside Lake tile space and then reveal card number 4. So card number 4 is going to say, spawn the 4 children of Ram in the Moonside Lake tile. One per space, beginning space is furthest away from the hunter. Place 2 plus insight tokens on this card each time a Ram is slain. Move 1 token from this card and spawn 1 child from the furthest space. Now, I did kind of mention in the previous video how I wish they would have had more of these miniatures, because that way you could have more appear on the board and make more of a threat. This is kind of the way they've done this in the other parts of the game too. It's basically they have you put extra tokens on these just as extra lives. So even if something dies, it just basically respawns back in as another one. So it's like there's an endless horde, or quote unquote endless, because you can run all these tokens. But it's a way of doing it without having to maybe having 40 miniatures pop up on the table. If they only have 4 miniatures total, you at least have to take out 1 or 2 before the next one will appear, but it will still appear and be a threat. Alright, now we're going to keep going from there. So we have Fear the Old Blood. So we get some more items here, but we didn't get any new items or repeat items in this set. The Old Scholar. So we're trying to do some stuff with that, helping out or taking out the Scholar. We have the Madman's Insight. All hunters on a tile suffer frenzy. This frenzy does not remove when hunter goes through the dream. It's only removed by a sedative consumable. It's automatically removed at the end of chapter. Ooh, interesting. When the scholar be slain, instead remove 1 token, heal all from it. Cool. Kind of fun. Consumables. Seek the Old Blood. Made by the Blood. Lost Knowledge. Some more lost knowledge. All hunters on a tile suffer frenzy. Not be removed except for completing this mission or ending the chapter. So that's kind of a neat thing. In the Blood Chalice, and I always like to go back to for this because it's kind of like after you play through all the challenges or chapters, this is a way for you to like keep playing the game as like an overall randomized mode. Is they do have right cards in there which make the game more difficult, which you could potentially add into any game if you probably wanted to. I like some of these would be kind of neat to add in there, like, oh, everyone that has, like, frenzy cannot be removed until, you know, at all. Like, so you have to, unless you go to the hunters, like, unless you play a certain card or something. They could make different things or attach it to a certain enemy. So until this enemy is cleared off the board, you can't remove it. You know, like, there could be some interesting things there. You know, or the next refresh step. So until the next refresh step, everyone keeps gaining frenzy. Could be interesting. Byrgenwerth, so this is one that tells us to start there. The Byrgenwerth Legacy. Each time a friendly hunter slays an enemy, they gain 1 insight. So we get some knowledge there we're trying to collect. So it's going to take the Madness deck place of the reach ball players. While hunter respawns, they may choose to suffer frenzy. On their turn, before performing any actions, frenzied hunters must draw 1 Madness card. Shuffle all Madness cards to start a beach round. So again, this is what I was saying. You can always add this Madness deck into other games. Just include it. Hey, anytime someone's frenzied, they have to draw a Madness card first. So it could actually add interesting, make frenzy like a little bit worse. Byrgenwerth Legacy. Frenzy Madness, so here's just another way for them to gain some. Your eyes have yet to open. Path of Knowledge. Failed Ascension. Grant us eyes. Time you slay a Scourge Beast, gain 1 corpse token. Collect the corpse tokens, that's fun. True Ascension. The Grand Cathedral, so if you did different things, you get some options. I always found like it's still using that. You know, I could go to the Grand Cathedral tile and fight some stuff. Metamorphosis. Special setups to setting up the map for Chapter 3. Byrgenwerth Legacy. So you get another frenzy may now be removed from hunters. Then they move to the Moonside Lake. Spawn Rom. This is where you spawn Rom to fight him. Rom the Vivacious Spider. Rom never moves, cannot be moved from her space by hunters. When she activates, she always flips a boss action, even if the hunter is not in her space. Each time teleport and someone is flipped, shuffle their action deck. Oh dang, that actually makes her even crazier, because just before I was like reading through it in the first video, right? Oh, it's going to be a pain in the ass boss because they're going to kind of do this. But the fact is that they never actually move. That's nuts. And then the Eldritch Truth. We finished the hunt. So a couple more insights in here. We have Grand Cathedral. Lines with Eyes. Line with Eyes. Osepka's Clinic. Just seems to be in like every campaign. Seeker of Knowledge. The Maddening Truth. Yes, and this one now they fight her, they have to draw a Madness card. So yeah, interesting way to do that. Again, like I said, you could even, you want to incorporate Madness or Frenzy into other games. This would be a neat idea to add this card, like attach it to like one enemy's space, right? It says each time a hunter performs an action while in that enemy's space, they have to flip a Madness card. So like specifically attaching it to like one type of enemy could be interesting. Cost of Knowledge. Odion's Chapel. Scholar of Truth. Split. Enemies on this tile are not removed after refresh, do not respawn once slain, and are immune to the effects of Odion's Chapel. Spawn two scholars on the lamppost space. Mark them with the insight tokens. They spawn with 2 remaining HP. Each time a scholar insight token is slain, spawn 2 scholars into space with 1 remaining Ooh, that is fun. So they're weaker characters, but every time you defeat them, so you start with 2 and you defeat each one, now you're going to have 4 of them to fight, and you have to defeat the other 4. Again, this could be a really neat, like, rights card, right, that you have to fight with a Chalice rights card. Like, again, attaches to an enemy, and then they start with, like, half HP or something, or only 2 HP left, right, and every time you defeat them, now there's another one with 1 HP. So it makes them harder to beat. And if it does that the entire game, like right now, imagine fighting like one of the snakes, or the giant zombie, right? And every time you have to fight him, okay, yeah, he's really easy to beat because he only has 2 HP, but once you beat him, now you have to fight 2 giants. That could be pretty fun. Might not be, again, game thematic-wise or correct in the game, but it could be cool ways to like take some of these mechanics from the chapters and the campaigns and increase them to be able to use them in other things. Fate of the Unworthy is the last card we have. Alright, so that's what we have for the Eldritch Truth. Yeah, so really neat. So it kind of pulls in some different ways to do it, where you have some enemies that are from this campaign that aren't just the only ones you're going to fight. They're going to come in and do stuff after you. We had a lot of stuff messing around with Frenzy. The Madness cards are playing into that, which add a little bit more difficulty to it. Rom is a very interesting boss to fight. So yeah, if this is something that's interesting, you might want to pick up this thing. I have read online on the Board Game Geek forum, this is probably some people's favorite expansion to play, so this might be definitely, if you can only get one of the Kickstarter ones, this might be one to look for, but then again, this might also be one of the harder ones to find for that reason. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out all of the other Bloodborne board game expansions. See you guys there. Bye.